There we go.
Awesome. Hey, welcome everyone to our info session. We'd love to talk about Startup Boost and share some of the awesome programming and events and some of the great insights. And we have a guest speaker as well, somebody who's been through the program itself to kind of give you some guidance and insights there. So just to start off, my name is Steven. I work over at Techstars, and I'm one of the co-leaders for Startup Boost in DC.
All right, and I'm also Steven. I'm a co-director as well, and I work for a company called Angels and Entrepreneurs, where we help startups raise capital. And I'll kick it over to Flor.
Hi everyone, my name is Flor Dievano, also part of this amazing group, the CEO and founder of Orange App.
And so here we're really looking for awesome startups, and we want to prepare them, whether they want to go to the Accelerator ready, or they're looking for professional investment through venture capital, or just plain old clients. They're going to raise revenue, and that's how they're going to grow and scale.
So to talk a little bit about where Startup Boost fits into the ecosystem, we're looking for companies that maybe have a little bit of early traction, beyond an idea, maybe have gotten a little bit of money from family and friends, and like Steven said, want to take things to the next level. So we're going to help do that, and we'll go into more detail on the programming, but we're considered a pre-accelerator. So if the accelerator path is where you want to go, this is a great place to be. And if not, that's not your goal, I think we can still help out. So we have programs running in a number of cities. We're excited to be starting this new program in the Washington, DC area. There's another new program that just popped up down in South Florida, so we're real excited about that as well. But the other 7 listed here, the first 7, have been running for some time, so we're lucky to be able to tap into those networks and learn and get some of the best practices for how to help startups in this area. By the numbers a little bit, so Startup Boost has been around for 4 years. As you can see, we've gotten thousands of applicants. Have pre-accelerated 265 plus companies that have gone on to raise $56 million in follow-on funding, or in funding, excuse me. So if you click to the next slide, you'll see some of the organizations that have gone on to invest in Startup Boost alumni. There's some notable names on this slide, and feel free to, peruse that. But yeah, we're really excited, and it's Startup Boost. If you're not familiar, is a global organization. So we have programs internationally. So what that provides is really an amazing network of the 265 plus companies, of the Startup Boost staff, and of all the partners and accelerator organizations and VCs in these cities. We have a good reach, and that's something that we use as an asset to help the startups that come through the program. I touched on this a little bit. Go ahead, Steven.
No, we're one of the 2 new programs, but again, we bring vetted experience from all the other programs that we've run over the past 4 years. So this is not our first rodeo. We have many global ecosystem partners, the Global Accelerators Network, F Success, and Techstars, just to name a few. So you're in good hands. And of course, our ethos, why are we here? We're going to help you ideally be accelerator ready. If you want to go into a Techstars accelerator or 500 startups or something of that nature, then this will be a good jumping start there. Or if you want to go straight into VC and do a funding round, this is also another good area for that. Or you just want to focus on revenue. We're going to help you with traction and customer validation, just so that you can grow sales specifically. In all 3 cases, you're going to need more and more traction. So sales and increasing your revenue is going to be one of the key milestones in the program.
So to touch on the program itself, it's a mentor-driven program. So the primary deliverable is, when you join the Startup Boost, we're going to connect you with experienced entrepreneurs and folks from the investment community who are going to give you one-on-one advice on how to help grow your business. We're going to give you weekly tasks that are going to help you focus in, that are going to help you really define what it is you're doing and how you plan on executing. We've touched on this, the connections. We're going to try to connect you with people that we think are going to be additive to what you're doing. So whether that is, partnerships or folks in the industry, or, investors in your space who can help you really take your business and refine it and get it to the next level. As far as the actual methodology, we're going to have guest speakers each week. So it's a 6-week program. And each week you're going to have a guest lecturer who's either a serial entrepreneur or a seasoned entrepreneur to talk about these topics listed here. And then after the lecture, we're going to help you refine your pitch. You're going to practice your pitch with your peers and with our mentors. And then we're going to give time for you to just dive into some of the problems that you're facing. And hopefully we'll be able to connect you with people and that'll help you solve those problems. Outside of the Startup Boost program, the Startup Boost organization offers additional programming that is meant to help you grow your business and reach, just develop a broader reach. So at the end of the 6 weeks, we're going to do a demo day where we're going to invite folks from the greater DC area, from the investment community, from accelerators, from, people that are going to want to see how you've progressed over these 6 weeks. And hopefully, we'll do a handoff to them and they'll help, you take you even further. So there's a little bit here about the format. Each company is going to get a chance to pitch. Obviously with the pandemic, everything is virtual, but hopefully in the future, we'll be able to meet up in person and shake hands and network. The Global Investor Day is kind of like a demo day as well, but instead what we're going to do is aggregate all the Startup Boost programs and all the pitches from this latest cohort and present them to an even broader audience. So folks are going to get access to your pitch. They're going to learn about what industry you're in. They're going to be able to filter through and hopefully find you if they're looking for a company like yours. And then finally, next slide, the Boost X community is you'll get access. If you go through the Startup Boost program, you'll get access to an online community, which is powered by a software platform called Mighty Networks. And it's kind of like our own personal Startup Boost Facebook. You'll be able to engage with fellow alumni, with folks from the Startup Boost community more broadly. There's educational courses and workshops. And it's just a great way to stay in touch and take advantage of some of the benefits of being part of this global organization.
And so just to keep in mind that the deadline is fast approaching. It's on Monday, March 22nd. So make sure to apply, or if you've already started applying, make sure you finish so that you're in the pool. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, according to Michael Jordan. So definitely don't let that be the case. Just apply, and then we'll work to see if this is a good fit. And of course, who better than to tell you what the experience is like than an alum? We have Nasheed here with us, joining us from Pittsburgh. Yes, and so he's going to share a little bit about kind of what was his experience like from the beginning and to the end, and what he's doing now. So Nasheed, tell us a little bit about you and your company, and what was your experience like?
So if you can, how much time, because I can be long-winded, I'm a lawyer, so I can talk for a long time. How long do you want me to talk here about this?
About 5-6 minutes, 10 minutes, let's say.
All right, so my name is Nasheed Ali. I'm an attorney based out of Pittsburgh. I started my firm. It was the idea that whenever you want to start an investment fund or start a business, you need a lawyer, a finance consultant, and an accountant. My idea was essentially to do all those things in one roof. When I don't even remember when we applied to Startup Boost where I was in this concept, but at some point in time, someone told me to focus on something smaller because the idea was just too big. So opportunity zones were a new law As a lawyer, I learned about the law and kind of understood what the mechanics of it were. So I use that opportunity zone space, which is an investment space, as a way to show this idea of what I'm talking about. From there, we partnered up with Silicon Valley Bank. I did get a $10,000 loan from like this local organization called Bridgeway Capital. So I did have pre-seed money. So I kind of am right where that startup boost space is. And a friend of mine who went through Y Combinator was also one of the mentors in Pittsburgh, and he recommended, and a couple other people in that space. You know, when you're in a community, a startup space community, or startup community, you typically kind of get the head nods like, hey, this is a thing that's happening. This is a new thing, or, you know, check this out. So it's literally that, you know, two people that I trust told me about Startup Boost. So I went through it in the fall of 2019. I would say as you were talking, I was thinking like, how can I explain what this is really like? It's like group exercise for your startup. That's how I would look at it. It's a way for you to get with people and start working on that muscle of like, you have to know how to talk about your business and talk about it in a way that like makes it real even before it actually becomes real. You know, by the time I think that we were in Startup Boost, we had 2,600 in revenue. And by the time I finished, I think like the system that Startup Boost, it's called like FX6 or something like that. Somehow from Startup Boost, we got connected to the thing that connects you to a bunch of accelerators. And then an accelerator in Birmingham contacted me through that. And, you know, I told them about Startup Boost and all that stuff. And, you know, obviously at that point, you're going to be able to do your pitch, like, you know, the back of your hand. So it was really easy for me to talk to them and make my business feel real, even though I still had that same 2,600 in revenue, didn't have any new customers, didn't have anything new going on. Just literally just been Startup Boost. But they accepted us into that Velocity Accelerator, got invested into 50K, brought on some follow-on capital since then. But, you know, for me, even that experience and, you know, in Startup Boost in general, it's just widening your network, you know, getting really good advice. You know, I had a mentor, you know, through a series of mentors starting in Startup Boost, you know, someone told me, you need to be charging for more things. You need to be making way more money. You don't even need investors. And that really just changed so much about my business, where now like we're cash flow positive, you know, we make revenue, we're bootstrapping, we're doing fine. And it's so much more in line with how I want to run my business so that I can actually do what I want to do. I don't have to be concerned about investors. So I think it's really poignant about how you start, you know, quote unquote, Startup Boost and where you are. You know, it's not really about being so developed. Like I said, I only had 2,600 in revenue. So there were some people that just had an idea, some people that pivoted. But I would say most of the people that I went through my cohort with have either since raised funds or, you know, or at least still working on their business. If they, you know, maybe pivoted here and there. But it was also really big, like I said, for networking. You know, I would say the last part of it is definitely just growing your network. You know, Blake messaged on Slack the other day about needing someone to talk, and literally just because it was Blake, and they've helped me out so much more, even just beyond Startup Boost. Like, so you go through the program, but then after that, you stay on Slack, you talk to people, you're invited to conversations, you meet people, you know, like SoftBank had a big thing last year where they were about to give out like $100 million fund, and Blake was the one that knew about it and then connected us with the people that were talking. I didn't get any of the money, but I got to speak with them. So it was cool to like get that conversation. So it's not just about that 6-week program. I didn't even know that when I was going through it. I thought it was only about that 6-week program, but it's really more so about like joining that community. So I don't know. I can answer any questions that you want. I think that's a good.
No, that was great. I was going to add to your story about Slack and how you got into doing this event. Like Steven and I don't even know you. We hadn't met yet, but because you're part of the Startup Boost community, you know, we really appreciate you coming out and giving your firsthand experience. It means a lot more, I think, to folks who are considering applying than us who haven't been through the program, but are excited to put it together and excited to start making those connections here in the DC area. So thank you so much, Steven. I'll cut you off maybe.
No. Anybody have specific questions? And maybe this is a good time to go into a Q&A, whether it's for any of us that we can help answer. You have questions on the application, or you want to ask Nasheed some questions about his experience, anything coming to mind, and feel free to unmute the mic and just ask us a question.
Or if you want to put it in the chat, we can relay it for you, whatever you're comfortable with.
In terms of traction, for traction, we're looking for businesses that have some traction already. We're pre-accelerator, we're not incubator in that sense. Having said that, there are some extreme cases where, you may be highly technical or with patents or something like that, but that's on a case-by-case basis. But traditionally, you need to have some traction. You're already hopefully making some revenue in that sense.
So I have a question for Nasheed, actually. Do you, obviously you keep in touch on Slack. Has there been any other benefits of the alumni community or the mentorship that you received? Do you still keep in touch with any of your mentors?
Yeah, I'm only laughing because it's funny when you say like keep in touch. It's more like they beat me up from time to time. That's what it's like. That's really what it is. Like they tell me, and I want that though from them. So yeah, no, definitely. It's just like I was explaining when you're in that community. So people will genuinely care about seeing you grow, especially if you're there and you're hiring people and you want to grow in a community. So, I stay in touch with most of not only like my cohort. I would say like I stay in touch just as much with people that were in my cohort as I do with my mentors. But it's like I said, that third degree thing. So I stay in touch. Sometimes I have some mentors that weren't even in my startup, like my startup boost mentors, but like I met them through startup boost later on. Yeah. So like I talked to them just as much as I did the mentors that I actually went through the program with. So yeah.
Cool. That's great to hear. Looks like there's some questions about geographic areas. Stephen, do we get a final say on that from HQ?
Yeah, so ideally, the program that you apply into, ideally you want to have some connection, whether you're looking to enter that market there, at the very least, if you're not already located in that area, then that could be one example of why you would want to consider the Washington, DC Startup Boost. However, if you're already in New York City and you're able to wait, that might be, and you're looking to focus primarily in the New York State market, then I would say it might be better to hold off for the fall when you can apply then for the next cohort. However, if you're looking to enter the DC market, that could be one example of why you may want to apply to the DC Accelerator program.
Yeah, because to explain that a little further, we're our job as the running the program is to really build connections here in DC. So we're going to make a concerted effort to reach out to DC accelerators, DC investors, and just other resources in this market that you probably won't be able to take advantage of unless you're planning on connecting in DC. So you might just not get as much out of it.
Hi, my name is Kirill, and I have got two questions. The first one is it necessary to be exactly located in the US, or it's not? Like if our startup is based mostly registered, in, for example, Israel, do we have an opportunity to participate?
You can, and again, it's based on connection. We'll do it on a case-by-case basis, so we'll definitely chat with you during the application selection phase where we interview some of the applicants that make it onto the next phase, and we'll chat about that. We'll see, what's the purpose, what are you looking to achieve over the next few years, and would DC be part of that vision or not, and then we can help you kind of make a determination.
Okay, thanks. And the second one is to Nasheed. What was your starting with, like when you applied to the Startup Boost? What were your, KPIs, for example?
So at the time that we applied, we had so our whole platform, like I said, is when you want to run an investment fund or business. So our whole thing was essentially we wanted to help people run their investment funds. We had one investment fund that had raised $130,000. We charged a 2% fee, so that was $2,600. We had 17 investors into that fund, one operator. So, I think total users were those 17, maybe like a handful more, maybe like 23, 24 or 5 users actually on the platform. So it was very bare bones.
Okay, you gotta start somewhere.
I'm laughing because I'm just thinking about what the portal looked like back then, just how crappy it was, just all that stuff. So it was really bad.
Anyway, it's tremendous story of your success.
Say again?
It's a tremendous story of your success. Anyway.
I had a lot of help.
Any last minute questions? We have a few minutes left. When does things start? So everything's going to start the week of April 5th. We are looking to do Tuesdays. So for 6 weeks, starting that week of April 5th, it's going to be on Tuesday, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern. So also keep that in mind, especially if you're in a different geography, how time zone may play in to that. 6 to 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. So that means the first session would be April 6th officially. It goes on to May 11th, which is the last week. And then that following week is when demo day happens. Yep.
All right.
All right. Well, any last minute questions for Nasheed? Going once, going twice. All right. Well, super excited. And thank you so much, Nasheed, for your experience, and congrats and best wishes on future success. We can only see more and more success from this point forward. So super excited, and let us know how we can help you in DC in any way, shape, or form.
Same. Please let me know anything, and good luck to everyone.
Oh, here we go. Do you prefer teams or solo founders to apply? Great question, case by case basis. You know, if you're looking to grow and accelerate, especially as you get more traction, you're going to need a team. So if you don't have a team, likely you'll want to start building it out through the program. If you already have a team, that's great, but not having a team won't disqualify you from getting to the next stage of the application process. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Let us know if any questions. You can always write to us, WashingtonDC at startupboost.org. Again, deadline for all of you to finish your application is March 22nd. So definitely excited to hopefully see your applications, and hopefully we get to connect over the next week or so, because this is starting in 2 weeks. So excited. Thank you all, and talk to you all soon.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.